Hi, folks. Hope you're doing well today. So, today I'm going to be covering Mussolini's Manifesto of Race and only a certain and limited scope of it because I like to keep my thinking simple and brief, if you folks don't mind that. So, how should we describe the racial outlook of Mussolini and Italian fascists in general? Well, it started off with an inclusive pan-Mediterranean outlook and viewed race as something civil and patriotic, not biological, but it didn't stay this way. Here's what Mussolini's manifesto said in a nutshell. We was Aryans, ban Jews from everything. Italians must be racist on purpose for the good of the nation. Italy is an Aryan nation, and all foreign elements must be disposed of and or suppressed. And there's a clear distinction between Europeans, Semites, Hamites, Black Africans, and other non-Europeans. Biological racism and nationhood are intertwined. There's also an emphasis on an Indo-European brotherhood, with one example being the Latin Romans and their relationship to the Celts, and a bunch of other racist, Aryanistic garble and anti-Semitic statements and beliefs largely exported into fascist Italy by Julius Evola. Here are some reasons why the Italian racial laws shaped by the manifesto were unpopular. The Jewish population of the Italian peninsula was neither genetically nor ethnographically monolithic. One portion of their population had been living there since antiquity. Another portion includes the descendants of the Sephardic population of the Iberian Peninsula that was expelled in the 1490s. Another portion includes the descendants from the Ashkenazis, who had been living there since the medieval era, yet all of them were well integrated and assimilated. In fact, many of the early supporters of the fascists were Jews, with one example being Ettore Ovassa, founder of the pro-fascist Jewish Italian newspaper La Nostra Bandiera. Italians were less familiar with the Jews to fall for any anti-Semitic propaganda, and anti-Semitism never dominated Italian society the way it did in other parts of Europe. The racial laws themselves were a very late development in fascist Italy's history and only came about after the nation-state allied itself with Nazi Germany in 1938. Pre-1938, the Italian fascists viewed race in a cultural and political lens, not a biological one. That perspective never really got abandoned by the party at large, and they were also Mediterraneanists, the proponents of a worldview that I'll be covering momentarily. Mussolini even admitted that he didn't even genuinely believe in any of this hogwash, but simply carried out these policies for his own political reasons. The population at large, as well as the leading fascists of the nation, examples being Dino Grandi and Italo Balbo, didn't vibe with any of these racial tenets either. This manifesto is largely influenced by, if not a clone, of the Nuremberg Laws of Germany. Fascist Italy didn't have this racialist outlook prior to Hitler's rise and the decision to ally itself with the Third Reich. Originally a Mediterraneanist, Mussolini gradually shifted his views towards a more Nordicism-oriented racial outlook. This was inherently self-loathing, as Mediterranean people, along with other Southern Europeans, were inferior and needed to be subordinated in the Nordicists' imagination. Mediterraneanism holds that all Mediterranean people, Italians, Greeks, Albanians, Spaniards, the Portuguese, etc., overlap with each other, with Italian fascism going as far as saying that Meds are the master race. Some Mediterraneanists included Iranics, which was a laughable fallacy on their part, because modern and up-to-date genetic research has debunked that. However, modern genetic research has consistently shown that there is indeed a pan-Mediterranean race largely underpinned by genetic ancestry from the early European farmers, but make of that what you will. Some other interesting things to point out. Mussolini viewed the Slavs, especially the Serbs, as subhumans and as a direct national threat to Italy. The Italian racial laws were also generally discriminatory towards Semites and Africans, which is very interesting considering that if the Axis had won the Second World War, Italy would have gotten North Africa. How would these racial laws have been implemented there? The restoration of the Roman Empire was also one of Mussolini's objectives, yet he, along with everyone else brought up by the Francicized historiography of the West, wasn't aware that Rome was a Hellenic empire and not even exclusively Latin. Greek was more predominant in both parts of the empire than Latin was. Literally in his own lifetime, there were Greeks from Asia Minor, from the population transfers sent to Greece by the Turks in the 1920s, who self-identified themselves as Romans and who knew that he was full of shit. Of course, we can all agree, if our brains are functioning properly, that Mussolini was a world-class cap lord and clown, right? I knew you don't all agree. And this is where I end my dissertation. Thank you for watching.